Hello guys and gals, welcome back to another episode of Shitpastas. Yes, Shitpastas. That time of the month where we take a look at the lowest low of the creepypasta barrel. Now, creepypastas come in many flavors. You know, some of them are really good, some of them are bad. These ones especially, today, the two that I've picked out, you can tell by the title right now, PlayStation Suffer and Super Mario Effects Prototype is a little, you can wonder. But these creepypastas, I believe, are the worst of the worst. They are so bad that they borderline on troll pasta territory. The only reason these aren't troll pastas are simply because this is a fucking troll pasta. This, alright? Okay? If you can read it without losing brain cells, by all means, you are a fucking trooper. But anyways, that being said, let's dive into the first creepypasta on the list. PlayStation Supper. Gaming is my passion. Nothing can beat it. But the only problem is I don't have a game console. Until now. Well, I just got a job at Sony a couple of months ago as a graphic editor, game creator, and for job reasons, I just got given a PlayStation 3 for game testing, so I had ideas about creating the games which I was relieved about. I couldn't explain how happy I was about it, so I rushed home to set it up. I was feeling better than before, but there was something weird going on. Every single word in the instruction leaflet was scribbled out, only left with the pictures which I thought was suspicious. But I just left it because it was getting late, so I went to bed. The next morning, I went out to go get some games since I didn't have any yet. So I went to a dodgy-looking second-hand store with a sign saying cheap second-hand games. I couldn't resist, so I strolled inside to see what was there. Believe it or not, the games looked brand new, with nothing wrong with them. But they were secondhand because they said that on the label, which I didn't understand. So I went and picked out 2 games and purchased them. But when I left, the man said to me in a sinister voice, saying, "Hope you don't die playing these games." I thought nothing of it, so I just left the store and headed home. The 2 games I bought were Borderlands 2 and Red Dead Redemption. Since it was my day off, I tried out the games I bought. So I placed Borderlands 2 into the console and started a new game. But something wasn't right here. Every single weapon I got from the chest were the rare orange classed weapons, which you hardly get, and there wasn't any enemies in the game either. Weird! I thought it would swap discs over because I thought it was just a minor bug that needed resting. So I put Red Dead Redemption into the console, but that was worse. The home screen was bloody and red, and human organs were hanging everywhere. Then, all of a sudden, a death-defying scream came up at full blast in the background, and it was the scariest thing I had ever seen. So I switched the disc over again to Borderlands 2, but it was worse than before. Every word in the game was scribbled out like the manual, and everything had blood and guts hanging from every place possible, and every enemy was immensely hard to kill. I had enough of this, so I took out the discs, snapped them into pieces, and burnt them into the ashes. But when I got back, the manual of the console wasn't there, where I left it. So I looked inside. Nothing was scribbled out anymore but the sentences, "You will suffer," repeated throughout the whole booklet, saying nothing else but that line. But also on the switched-off TV was the same sentence, "You will suffer." But with blood splattered all over the TV screen, real blood, all over the screen by the way, real blood, I thought it couldn't get any worse, but then a picture popped up on the TV screen. It was the scariest picture I had ever seen. I couldn't take it any longer, so I picked up the PlayStation 3 and just chucked it at the TV. The TV sparked up, but still had the message on it, so I just collected my stuff, left the house, and as soon as I got out the door, someone was standing there with a gun to my head, and he pulled the trigger and bang! My life was over. This is my story of a prototype that shouldn't be. One day, I was snooping around eBay looking for rare prototypes of games. While looking, I found a supposedly mythical Super Mario FX for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, the SNES version of Mario 64 pretty much. There was always debate whether this game did exist, so I had my doubts, but I still wanted to see what it was because of how cheap it was, which also puzzled me. Why would someone sell such a rare card for so low? But curiosity got me and I bought it. When it came in the mail, I did a video for my YouTube series, Tyler the Nintendo Nerd, Tyler Plays segment. The only portion left that wasn't corrupted due to the shoddy camera was the beginning. Here it is. This is how the rest of the video went. When I tried to play it, the SNES would block it out. So I fiddled around with it, and finally got it to work. It started with all illegal crap, as usual with protos, but then something weird happened. The start screen was black, with a basic title and start and copyright 1991. So I hit the start button. When it started, the game went to a low-poly 3D game that barely resembled Mario 64. The characters were barely recognizable and they looked very odd. Mario had no face, as did some other characters. I thought this was because it was a very early proto. But then I noticed things out of place. The Goombas had black, soulless eyes, with what appeared to be blood on their heads. Mario had blood on his shoes, pants, and gloves, as if he was stomping and ripping apart enemies. The music was high-pitched 8-bit tones that somewhat resembled Super SMB Overworld theme, pretty much. When you would jump, you couldn't do it as high as usual, and if you fell more than what seemed like 15 feet in the game, Mario would make a hyper-realistic crunching noise and double over in pain as if he broke his legs. At this point I couldn't move, and I had to reset. When I did, it wouldn't let me. Then, this text appeared. Mario has fallen and broken 8 bones. He died in the hospital due to internal bleeding. I found the part about the broken bones unsurprising, since his games seem to want to take a realistic approach, but the part about dying from internal bleeding struck with confusion. How could you die from some broken bones by bleeding internally? That's when this text appeared. A later autopsy revealed that he had instead committed suicide by overdosing on hospital medication, and the internal bleeding was a cover-up caused by him first beating himself half to death before ingesting the medication. I was at a loss for words. And right before I unplugged the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, this appeared. His brother Luigi committed suicide a week later by means of hanging inside the main spire of the Mushroom Castle, immediately after the evil King Bowser overthrew the Mushroom Kingdom, enslaving the inhabitants. At that last bit, I unplugged the system in revolt. How could my beloved Miyamoto mess up my hero like this? I decided to keep the game on hand. Although I refuse to play it or take photos of it, it is now in the back of my Nintendo collection, so it will not be touched by anyone else. What the fuck, man? Honestly, these episodes are based entirely on user suggestions. It's all about you, but damn, do you all really find the worst of the worst? I mean, Mario FX was recommended to me before as a creepypasta, and, I looked over it, but god damn, these two are bad. First off, let's just look at PlayStation Suffer. This is every cliche imaginable, no build-up, fucking, I guess, the best person in a shitpasta who sells games ever. The fact that this person has to say mwahahaha is reason enough to get out of the store. I mean, come on, but then again, in the world of shitpastas, you can think nothing of it, right? Brand new games being secondhand, oh, that's the revelation to the player, that's what you don't understand. I mean, are you fucking real? Then every single weapon in Borderlands 2 that's orange, the lucky weapons or whatever, oh no, that's bad. No, you're just a lucky person. I know it's weird, but that's what it is. Some things got to me too, like the glitch that needs resting. Maybe some cough medicine too as well, I don't know. How do you work at a game division for a multi-billion-dollar company with that kind of a mindset? Even if you just do graphic design, you pretty much need to know the logistics of everything, which just baffles me. And I know it's a moot point to some, but when you set up when it's a shorter creepypasta and you set up a character, you don't want to contradict what the character does afterwards, right? And if you are, you want to at least explain what's going through their mindset. Otherwise, it just baffles the person. It's like breaking a logical rule there. Just fucks with the reader. Finally, to twist a knife in a little deeper, you saw blood. No, sorry, not just blood, but real blood on the screen, like actual, real, true to God, like blood. I mean, goddamn, man, this is just wow. But no, it gets better. He dies at the end. Okay, like he gets shot. And he writes his story. Normally some would question that, and question properly indeed. But this one, I'm just gonna say it's the most logical thing in this goddamn creepypasta. I mean, I thought Burn Baby Burn was bad, but oh no, that's the Russian sleep experiment compared to this one. The next one, Super Mario FX prototype, wasn't exactly brilliant either. You had the adventures of Tyler the Nintendo nerd, original character, do not steal, buying a cheap prototype on eBay. Now, normally the sane individual would say, it's a scam and move on, but no, Tyler's like, I'm curious, I'll just go on and order it. Whatever. The game's this low-poly version of Mario 64 with soulless Goombas and blood-on clothing, which, you know, which also baffles me. If the game is low-res, as you say, what's up with all the details? I mean, come on, people. I know, you know, it's a moot point, but still, it's contradictory. It's right next to each other. It just leaves you there, and you know, with an experience as shallow already, it just kills it even further. So you notice it more. Then you have the Mario breaking bones and getting internal bleeding, and then, you know, which I thought was actually kind of cool. You know, the whole like realistic kind of fact there that they had, and then finding out that him and Luigi just killed themselves with no context as to why. I mean, why? Did they feel remorse on killing Goombas? No, we'll never know. It's like a Tootsie Roll Pop. It's just encrusted in shit. You'll never know what's going on. You'll just be wondering. I mean, this could have had. You could have led somewhere with this too. You could have done something. All right. You could have been like the. I mean, you could have made a good Mario pasta, but no. It's just they killed themselves. That's it. Goodbye. Then you have this whole Miyamoto betrayed me. I mean, come on. This is just making Sonic's pentagram look brilliant. Honestly, I think Super Mario FX Prototype does have potential in it, at least in the idea. But it needs serious revisions. It needs actual motives. I mean, you can't just kill off. Mario cannot kill himself for no reason. I mean, come on. Let's be honest here. And it needs build-up. PlayStation Suffer, on the other hand, is just a borderline troll pasta. I mean, the reason I chose this one is because this is literally the line. Okay, a little better is like creepypasta. Okay, lower, spec lower is troll pasta. All right, this is what it is. Now, it needs to be completely written at best as of now. I mean, that's really the only advice. I'm not going to dwell on it as it's making me suffer as I speak. Now, in the end, what would you rate this pasta? What would you rate these creepypastas? Which one do you think is better? And what can be changed? This has been another episode of Shitpastas. And if you like what you saw, then like, comment, and subscribe. This is me, Mudaharn. I am out.